Scott Shafer now joins us with Syracuse. We will open up the room for questions, and we'll see how the next 12 or 13 minutes go. We've got a question on this side, and we'll move that microphone just as quick as we can down the aisle.
Good morning, Coach. Tim Reynolds with the Associated Press in Miami.
Morning, Ted.
I wanted to ask you about cost of attendance, which obviously everybody's sort of been talking about, and specifically with the difference between public schools, private schools. I know that every financial aid office calculates, the numbers are different.
Yeah.
Do you anticipate that being a problem for you, a problem for other schools, the term that some coaches have used is it feels on some level almost like free agency. Do you anticipate it being maybe more trouble to start than it was intended to be?
Sure, I sure do. Anytime you get into the recruiting process and a kid can say, well, why does this school have this much money available for me to attend and this school not this, not as much? Anytime you have that, you're going to have some interesting recruiting processes that move forward. Unfortunately, fortunately, the kids are going to have more regardless. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a balanced playing field, but there's nothing we can do about that right now. So you live in the now and you live in the reality of what it is, and that's what we'll do. But it will cause some recruiting things to come up over the course of time.
Coach will go back and to the left.
Coach Mark Larson, Time Warner Cable News, Syracuse. Talk about your expectations. Last year you kept throwing out 8 wins because it was one more than the year before. Obviously, I know you want to win more than 4 this year.
Yeah. Well, for us, expectations and goals going into a season are a funny thing. I think sometimes they're more for the outsiders than they are from the insiders. My best seasons over the years as a coach for 25 years have been the ones where we stayed true to what we practiced and preached. And that is, let's get better every single day. Let's go out and try to win every game in front of us, but let's make for damn sure we're making improvements daily. We talk to the kids a lot about winning the day one at a time, and that'll be our approach moving forward. So we look forward to challenging schedule, challenging season. We got some great people coming into the Dome, LSU. So it'll be a great challenge for us, but really, Mark, the whole goal is to win the day one at a time.
Let's stay up in the back next to Mark here, blue shirt.
Coach Nico Tamarian, how are you?
Great, Nico.
We talk about Terrel Hunt, obviously, didn't get to finish last year for it, but he's back, his last go-around with you. What do you look for from the fifth-year senior this year?
Well, I'm excited to have Terrel back. I think that, he's an extremely passionate young man that has a love of the game. I think all kids that go through injuries realize how much they love it when it's taken away from them. And that definitely happened with Terrel. So for me, it's extremely exciting to see him back and to see that energy that's kind of reinvigorated his movement forward into his last season playing for us. So I'm excited to have him back. I think the biggest thing is with any competitive quarterback is to make sure that he plays within himself and within the system and not try to do too much too early. And I think Coach Lester will have him doing that early and often. So it's great to have Terrel Hunt back.
Coach, front row left.
Scott, how you doing?
Great, Dan. How are you?
Good. Dan Tortora, Broadcast Media. To look at year 3 and the recruiting trail, this becoming more and more your team, guys that you're bringing in, just what you can say on how recruiting is going as far as the response you feel you're getting, and this team becoming more and more of what you and your staff are putting together.
Sure. The recruiting process has gone extremely well for us. I think that we continue to upgrade. Our focus point is always on bringing a kid of like value systems, like-mindedness that has a true appreciation for an education at a school such as Syracuse, as well to play in such a great conference that we get to here in the ACC. I've been pleased with it. are really our first full recruiting class of kids this past year that has gone through. I'm excited about. When we had a difficult season, we still posted a GPA that was the highest since they've kept records at Syracuse in the fall. And a lot of that has to do with some of those young kids. Freshman year is the most difficult year for those kids to get through and succeed, and those kids ended up with a 3.29 GPA. That freshman group this past semester coming through. So really pleased with the recruiting. I think our assistant coaches have done a great job targeting the right kids that fit with the formula we look for at Syracuse, and we look forward to continuing as we move forward. But I've been really excited about the movements we've had in recruiting.
Coach to our right, third row here, blue shirt.
Alex Dodd, Dodd Sports Network. You lose 8 starters off of your defense from a year ago. Are you seeing your younger guys step up and own those roles, and how are you preparing them to start the season?
Sure, Alex. I'm excited about it. I think defense is about attitude and effort, and Coach Bola and that defensive staff has done a great job getting our kids to play sound football and extremely hard, tough, hard-nosed football with those kids. The faces, the jersey numbers will be new and different, but the attitude, the effort, and the attacking mentality that we've always had will continue to be the same. So great opportunities for a bunch of young kids that have done well, busted their tails in preparing for this chance to play at Syracuse in the ACC. And I've been pleased with the movement we've had moving into spring ball, coming out of spring ball, and the work they've been doing this summer.
Your left, second row.
Bob Holliday, WRL.com.
Hey, Bob.
As I'm looking down, good morning. As I'm looking down the roster, I count at least 8 schools that not only return a quarterback, but return a quarterback who's mobile and can do things with his feet. And obviously, Terrell is one of those.
Yeah.
How does that challenge the defenses in this league to have so many guys who can beat you multiple ways?
Boy, it challenges you, Bob. I was a defensive coordinator my whole career, and anytime you have to defend all 11 rather than 10, it changes the mentality. The thing I've loved about Terrel Hunt is the fact that he could move the chains with his feet. And I'm not talking about a breakaway 60-yard touchdown. I'm talking about just moving the chains. I was really lucky when I was at Stanford. We were watching recruiting videotape, and lo and behold, Bill Walsh walks by. Coach Harbaugh talks him into coming in and talking to us about quarterback play. And one of the things that he talked about was to find a quarterback that could move the chains with his feet. And you look at the guys that he coached, Joe Montana could definitely do that, Steve Young. I think it adds a dimension that the defense has to always, take into account when they're game planning. So we'll always try to have a guy that can do those things, as will most of the people in our conference.
Camera platform to the right in the back.
Coach Shafer, Shannon Shepard, WSYR. Can you talk about getting back to winning at the Carrier Dome and the opportunity you have to get some big wins against big opponents this season at home?
Sure, we're excited to get back into the Dome, to get back into the fans. I've been taken back at, our fans in Central New York and all the positive comments they've given us. Our kids do a lot in the community, and we feel like we want to give it back to those folks back home in Syracuse and Central New York, and what a better place to do it than the Dome. So we're excited. We kick it off that Friday night against Rhode Island, and then we go through that schedule, hit Wake Forest. Obviously, we got LSU coming to town, which will be a great opportunity for us. Then we'll jump into that conference play with a lot of great teams coming into the Dome. So great opportunity. We're excited for it, and we're just looking forward to putting a great product on the field for our fans.
Back to Dan here in the front.
Scott, obviously when you change the offense, some people want to go out of house and look for somebody. You kept in-house. You stayed with Tim Lester and put him in that position. You've gotten to take a look and implement some things over the spring. What can you say about your expectation of him in this offense and what you're excited about? Sure.
Expectations will just be to do the best job he can, be consistent with what he does. Timmy's had great success on offense. Every job he took as either a coordinator or head coach, they broke the records for total offense at all of those schools, albeit they were smaller schools. Football's football. Learned that as a young kid from my dad. Football's football. You play Division III, Division 1A. You play small high school football to big high school football, offense, defense, the one thing that continues to be a mainstay is, do you have production? You know, Timmy was thrown into a tough situation last year where he had to run an offense that wasn't his in the middle of the season. And I thought he did a good job fighting through it, considering we were playing a freshman quarterback that was in high school and warming up a wide receiver if he went down. Never did we think in our lives that we'd get to number 4 and have a wideout be our number 5. But that was the reality of it. And I thought he did a nice job calming the ship as we went throughout the season. And I'm so excited for Coach Lester and his offense, his offensive staff, because now they're getting to do what they want to do on offense. And you know, they had a nice spring ball. I think the systems and the concepts are in. We'll have some young guys that we need to teach and get them up to speed. But I think it'll be an exciting offense. I'm looking forward to the different things he'll be doing with our H-back, or as many are talking, the express back, named by the people of the community more than the coaching staff. Guy like Irv Phillips, you know, different formations, same plays, different plays, run throughout the course of a series to set up different things. Tim is an extremely smart young coach. I'm excited to watch him do his thing.
Back to Mark again in the back of the room.
Hey, Coach, just want to get your gauge on where your program is. It's your 3rd year coming in as a head coach. And some people up there are talking about pressure with a new athletic director, but where do you see this program right now?
Well, college football is about pressure every single year, and nobody really cares about the injuries you had or all those things. They're just going to look at the bottom line year in, year out, and I understand that. But what we have to do as coaches is we need to peel off those layers and look at the things that mean the most in creating a program that we can be proud of. And that starts with integrity, character, the ability to graduate kids at a high level with meaningful degrees. We're doing all those things. And like I mentioned earlier, we had a very difficult season, but our kids prevailed off the field and in the classroom. That shows true character. It's like all of us in this room, we all have families. You're going to have highs and lows throughout the course of your livelihood with your families. It's how you get through the tough times that make the high times even higher. And that's where we are right now. We got a bunch of young kids coming in that played football before we thought they were going to have to, especially on offense, and that gives us a great deal of depth. I think the program is at a place where I feel really good about because of those things I just mentioned.
Last question for you, Coach, next to Mark.
Coach Nico Tamarian again. Coach Narduzzi was in here talking about how far you guys go back. Just to you tell us about that relationship a little bit.
Yeah, me and Doozer go back a long way. You know, we raised our kids together at the University of Rhode Island when we were in our mid-20s. We had an opportunity to rebuild locker rooms, clean light fixtures, put up whiteboard over green board and chalk. We built that program. Then I moved on to Northern Illinois, and as soon as I had an opportunity to give him a chance to come in and coach for Coach Novak, he ran our linebackers and did an unbelievable job. Great coach. Couldn't be more proud of his success. He and Donna and the children, and it's just exciting for me to look across the table and see my old buddy Pat Narduzzi coaching in the same conference now.
Coach, thanks. Have fun this season.
Thank you very much.